Hello and welcome to a new video. There's a cockroach hanging out on the highest point of the wall near the ceiling. He's been sitting there for several hours now and hasn't moved once. I call him Craig. I may or may not kill him later if the opportunity comes up. Maybe he'll just die. Anyways, I figure I'd talk about some different Scorn topics over some footage of me playing Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, because that seems a little bit more interesting than talking over the trailers or the demo or a still image. You know, it's something new and varied to see. So first thing on everyone's mind is, when the hell is this game gonna come out? Because it's been in development for like 5 or 6 years now, and they've predicted the release year twice, once with the reveal trailer, 2017, and one with the gameplay trailer, 2018, and subsequently the Kickstarter as well, which was slated for October 2018. And the answer is, we don't know. The developers have not released any information about the release date to the general public. However, they might have released some information to video game journalists, because one website that was reporting on the Series X reveal that Scorn is coming to upcoming Xbox stated, look at the absolute state of wolves, because it stated that Scorn is going to come out in the launch period of the console, and its source for that was a website for video game journalists. You have to make an account on it, and as bad at video games as I might be, I'm no video game journalist. So I do not have an account on that website, and quite honestly, I don't give enough of a shit to make one. But how true is that possibility that it appears in the launch window or launch period of the console, which I'm going to assume is maybe like 2 or 3 months after the launch date? Well, they did have some cursory information posted on their Kickstarter June update. And the update was a questions and answers session where, wow, the absolute state of wolves. A questions and answers session where they, answered what they assumed to be frequently asked questions about the Xbox launch. One of the questions was, will this have any implication for the PC version? Which they answered no, because the Xbox version and PC version are coming out on the same day. Though I wonder if the question might be better answered by addressing the possibility of censorship in the game, since Agony also came out on console and had a major problem when it came to the more strict censorship that appeared on consoles. And Scorn is going to have sexual elements, as evident by the Series X trailer, and we'd rather not see things removed. Wow, really, just 2? No wolves, so we successfully filtered them. That's a goal. Goal is to filter the wolves, get rid of them. And the other question, oh wow, this one really filters. The other question was, can I switch my backer reward from a Steam key to a Series X key? To which the developers have confirmed, yes you can. However, and this was a very telling caveat, that people should be aware that if they decide to get an Xbox key, it might be the case where they have the game, the key, but not the console to play it on. And so the question is, when is a console likely to be scarce? Man, like, this is probably the most dangerous section just because everyone's able to get up here. Goodbye. But so crowded. So you might have the game but not the console. When is a console rare? Well, there's two major times when a console might be hard to come by. The first is when the console launches, period. You know, when it first comes out, and maybe a month or two afterwards. And the second time is when there's a major flagship title that comes out for that console, like Super Mario Odyssey on the Nintendo Switch. A bunch of people bought that. Bought that console just for that game, or the next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. You know, it's a console seller. Now, the only flagship title that the Xbox Series X would really have is Halo Infinite, and it's been delayed because of the abysmal reception of its reveal. You know, all those monkey memes. So that's not going to be a factor in the Xbox sales. And, you know, to Scorn developers' defense, they didn't know the reveal for the new Halo would have such a disastrous response. I don't think that's what they're talking about there. I think they're talking about the launch of the console itself. Now, the new Xbox is likely gonna come out late November. They intend to release it for the holidays, you know, for the winter festivities, and they'll want to release it like late November so that there's enough time for people to get their hands on it, for stores to restock when they're sold out, and so on and so forth. And so, it makes sense to release it during the holidays since that's when people are buying a bunch of gifts for others. And so, if that is the case, and I think we can expect Scorn to come out either this December, January, or February. Still a wolf there that needs to be filtered. I mean, it's been in development for so long now. They've been working on part 2 now for over 2 years at this point. And there's still, like, you know, pretty much half of the year left to go. I do think that we will be seeing it come out very soon. One additional bit of information they gave out, let me do a Craig check, still there, is that there's not going to be any additional demos or preview builds available between now and the launch of the game, which is a little bit disappointing if you back the game up to the reward tier that gives you the early access, like a month ahead of launch, the game's prologue. That part right there really filters. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing if you spent all that money and then it turns out you could have spent less and gotten the same thing. Although I guess, like, it's been so wow, the absolute state of video games. It's been so long that many people have even forgotten they backed the game. Little strat to get through that part pretty much consistently. Ah, fuck it. Let's see. Another question that's on people's minds is, when are we gonna get a new gameplay trailer? Because the last one was in 2017, and according to Peklar in many interviews, the game has changed substantially both in appearance and gameplay since that trailer. We don't know, and we know even less than the console's launch because there's not even a hint of when we can expect to see it, other than the fact that they'll start releasing more stuff closer to the game's launch. And since we don't know concretely when the game is going to launch, we can't even speculate on that. I would assume that October would be a reasonable month to release it in. Obviously, I'd like it sooner than later. But if they're gonna be strategic, October is, you know, Halloween month. That's when everyone's interested in horror again. And then the question is, well, what would we want to see in the gameplay trailer? And my answer would be maybe a new area. Now, between the reveal trailer and their first gameplay trailer, fucking wolves, get out of here. The reveal trailer and the first gameplay trailer, there's actually no shared locations that I could find. The reveal trailer focused on a lot of these areas that are, you know, very fleshy and biological. And the only similarity with the gameplay trailer is the appearance, oh wow, of that bear at the end of the reveal trailer, and it's a common enemy in the gameplay one. And so it could be the same with the Series X trailer and whatever new gameplay trailer they come up with. Smacking into people. Pull the hot dog back! Let's see, however, it could also be that the gameplay trailer takes place in that area, because what's interesting about the Series X trailer is it all seems to take place in the same general area. I even speculate that the pregnant figure that was featured so prominently in the trailer can actually be seen in the far right during the shot where it has like the giant head statues and the stairs, and you see the back of Scorn guy's legs. Like, if you pause the video when that scene first comes up and view it at the very right, you can sort of see the silhouette of her laying down in that coffin, and I have tried to like further verify that fact by examining the footage and such. But you know, that's a pretty distinct possibility that she's in that giant room there. And if she is, then that really makes the area from the trailer even smaller. Here, cherry, apple, banana, watermelon. Let's see. One place I would like to see them show is more of the surface. We've seen a little bit of it in an opening cinematic, pre-rendered cinematic for the gameplay trailer. But other than that, oh, and it's also shown sometimes in the concept art, but other than that, we don't really know what's going on above these underground facilities. It might give us a little bit of insight or context about where the game takes place. I mean, does it really take place on Earth, or will we see a strange alien sky that confirms it doesn't? And it would just be cool to get more context about things, like where everything is situated relative to each other, more of an idea about the environment of the Scorn world. It would be nice to see some new enemies. We technically saw new enemies, but also not. In the Series X trailer, there was that slumped over dead Scorn guy that's been so heavily augmented that he's carrying this tiny little creature inside of him. I've already pointed out that the creature inside of him is a miniature version of that creature from the reveal trailer that's inside that red translucent pod. And someone actually pointed out to me that the, dead figure and creature inside of it are the silhouettes that were posted when Scorn was still had an active Kickstarter that was supposed to be like an additional tier after the game reached funding, 2 new enemy types, and take note of that. However, the Kickstarter did not reach that amount, and yet it seems that with the additional funding they've gotten outside of Kickstarter, they were able to implement them, which is nice, I guess. However, the fact that they're an enemy type makes me want to see them in action, not just slumped over and dead. I mean, how do you fight against them? How do they attack you? What are their purposes in the Scorn world? We don't know, and it would be nice to see or get an idea of it because we know so little about the game, and it's just kind of crappy not knowing much about the game after so long. Alright, come on. 3 more people need to be filtered. Let's get this done with. I think I was the last person to be filtered. One thing they could do is actually show off the area from the gameplay trailer, because according to Peklar, it's changed so substantially that it's practically not even recognizable. In fact, I'm not even certain if the area from the Series X trailer is supposed to be like completely different from the gameplay trailer, considering the similar architecture and aesthetics and the fact that there's bears there. Let's see, or they could, and this is something interesting, show off the area from the pre-alpha trailer, because that definitely would look very interesting, especially since the pre-alpha stuff was actually done in Unity as opposed to the Unreal Engine. And it would be nice to get some confirmation about whether or not Moldman will appear again, because I have a theory that he's integral to, and I want to know if I'm not wasting my time. I definitely like to see new weapons and new puzzles in whatever trailer they come up with, because the one shown in the gameplay trailer and demo is like, I wouldn't even really consider it a puzzle, I want to see what sort of brain teasers this game is going to present. So yeah, on to another subject. I'm interested in the music of the game. Now, the first composer for the game soundtrack was a guy called Sky, who did the soundtrack for a movie called A Serbian Film, which just read about the synopsis on Wikipedia. And he did it for the pre-alpha and reveal trailers, but then along the way dropped out of the team, probably because they were taking so fucking long to make a video game. And I assume that soundtrack stuff is actually done pretty late in the development of a game, because you need to make it match the scene and stuff like that. And so they replaced him with another artist that a lot of people know of. I've never heard of him because I wasn't really interested in the genre he works in, called Billion or Atik. He has multiple names. And his first song that I heard was for the opening of the gameplay trailer and the end of the demo. I have a video playing the song, the music from the ending of the demo on my channel, and the one from the beginning of the trailer wasn't very, interesting to me. It's not as memorable as the pre-alpha and reveal trailer scores. And the one at the end of the demo is alright, but it doesn't quite get stuck in my head like the reveal song. Oh, this part here is just an absolute clusterfuck all the time. The absolute state of owls. Am I in first? I think I'm actually in first. I'm gonna not talk here for a moment. I focus on getting that victory. Oh fuck. Oh wow. That actually pisses me off because I'm trying to get that achievement where you taunt before getting first place. Whatever. But in one of the Kickstarter updates, he posted some of the soundtrack that he came up with. The names were Structure 223 and Cleansing, and I thought both of those were really good. And I also thought the music for the Series X trailer was really good. So, I'm less uncertain about the decision to have him be the game's lead composer. He also does the sound design, which, Oh, he got filtered! You won, but at what cost, dude? Did he get filtered? I don't think he crossed the finish line. But I'm less uncertain about him. Let me do a Craig check. He's still up there. One thing I kinda wonder, is Dan Bull gonna do like... Oh, fucking hate teams. Is Dan Bull gonna do a rap video about Scorn? Because he does rap videos about a lot of video games, and he didn't do one for Agony. But is Scorn gonna be big enough that we get a Dan Bull rap video? That would be spectacular. Let's see. One question I've, sometimes asked myself is what would happen if Scorn ends up becoming like this really big game. Like, think hypothetically Undertale or Cuphead, big enough that people can speculate about Smash representation. Now, I don't think that Scorn is ever gonna be featured in Smash Brothers, especially since it's not coming out on any Nintendo console. And that's a pretty important prerequisite. The character doesn't... None of the characters have to be on a Nintendo console, just the franchise. So technically, there is a way that a TF2 rep could be in Smash. I'm not even joking. Because Heavy and Pyro were in a Sonic racing game, a Sonic kart racing game. And that same game came out on the Nintendo Switch or Wii U or something. And those characters weren't on the Nintendo release version, but since they are in the quote-unquote franchise, maybe, you know, maybe. But that's beside the point. God, I fucking hate teams. Look at this. I'm always stuck with the smoothest of brains. But other than that ridiculous hypothetical scenario, I do think if it becomes big, we might be able to see, like, them release the art book as a general product rather than just a Kickstarter backer reward, and maybe the soundtrack as well. I don't think there's gonna be a sequel. They seem very adamant about that, and I mean, I don't know, maybe Peklar has a limit, maybe he has a price. I wouldn't anticipate that. But if it does become really big, one thing we can definitely be rest assured about is the appearance of a Scorn Guy Funko Pop. Because I'm pretty sure they don't even get like actual licenses for the characters they use. I think just any time a franchise becomes even remotely big or well known, a Funko Pop of its characters appears out of the ether onto the store shelves. Oh my fucking god, I hate this one so much. I genuinely dislike this one because it's so RNG heavy. So, you know, that might be fun. I don't understand people who, like, collect Funko Pops for the sake of collecting Funko Pops. You know, if it's a character from a franchise you really like, that's perfectly understandable. You'd want some little knick-knack or whatever of that character. But just collecting them for the sake of, oh, it's part of this product series, just doesn't make sense to me. But on the flip side of Scorn becoming big is what the gaming community will come up with, which I'm sure there'll be a lot more fan art, which would be nice. And there might even be some more Scorn analysis videos from other people who are not me, which would be great because I'm literally the only one speculating anything about this game. It's lonely. There is a guy called Night Owl, I think his name was, who did a good video on Scorn actually pretty recently. But other than that, it's been a very lonely time. Let's see, do another Craig check. He's still there. One question on people's minds is when or where does Scorn take place? And one of the biggest assumptions is that it takes place on Earth, which I don't adhere to and don't particularly like that theory. Because it seems like a cheap twist, you know? Like, oh, Scorn was Earth the entire time. At the end of the game, Scorn Guy is gonna see the Statue of Liberty submerged in a colossal sea of meat. murder that dude. Alright, can you fuckers please grab some eggs? Like, I'm defending the point, and you assholes are just like, no. Funny thing I saw, actually, on TV Tropes' page for Scorn, there's a segment or page called Your Mileage May Vary, which is about what community thinks of the game rather than about the game itself. And in it, it said that some people have been shipping Scorn Guy with Dark Samus from the Metroid games, which seemed kind of odd at first, but then I remembered, oh wait, the Metroid games were heavily influenced by H.R. Giger, and Dark Samus, from what I've seen, utilizes some of Giger's stylistic elements in her design. So, you know, it doesn't make complete sense, but I can see the reasoning behind it. That's a closest to first place I've ever gotten in this one. I would have expected him to be paired with Demons from Agony, considering those two games are so often compared to each other. They were announced at relatively the same time, 2017 for most of the world for Scorn, and just in general for Agony. They both have a heavy meat aesthetic. Whenever there's like a new trailer or Kickstarter update on the YouTube comments section, Twitter, and Facebook for Scorn, there's always somebody saying, oh, I thought this was Agony, or I keep getting this confused for Agony, or people saying, oh wow, please don't do what Agony did, because that game's launch was such a disaster. I wonder if the Agony devs are a little bit salty about that. I know Tomek Duktowicz, who's a lead developer for Agony and Succubus, backed Scorn on Kickstarter. But I also know on Facebook, during one of Scorn's posts, the Agony account actually responded to a few people there, so I don't know. The responses were pretty cordial, but I can't help but feel there was a little bit of salt. Just a little bit. How did 15 people get filtered already? Come on. Honestly, Pineapple, get out of here. Oh, he just barely made it. Wow. But yeah, they were sort of sister games for a while. I was even wondering if they would come out at roughly the same time and be competing, but the Scorn devs don't know how to release a video game. That wolf still needs to be filtered. Two of them. You know, Agony came out, then Agony unrated, then Succubus was announced, and there's been multiple trailers for that, including a closed alpha and an open demo. Hell, that game might even come out before Scorn for all we know. I'm looking through a list of the topics to talk about in relation to Scorn that I wrote for this video. One of them is, will Scorn become, well, a speedrunning game? And I don't think so, because the gameplay is very slow and it doesn't seem to offer itself or lend itself to a lot of, you know, strategy or game breaking opportunities. The fact that Scorn Guy can't fuck, I don't know if he can fuck or not. I mean, he doesn't seem to have a penis, but who knows, maybe he'll pick one up. But the fact that he can't jump, for example, is pretty detrimental to a speedrunning scene, because for whatever reason, jumping just allows people to break the game that much more. And there's also a fact that every action is played out. Like, Scorn Guy opens a drawer, you have to watch as his arm reaches out and opens it. So that's gonna eat up a lot of time, but who knows? I mean, speedrunners, they know. Oh fuck, this is my least favorite. They know how to break a game. One assumption that I've seen a lot when people speculate on Scorn, as scarce as that is that Scorn guy is human and the game takes place on Earth, which I addressed earlier, but particularly the human thing, you know, again, that seems like such a lame, uninteresting twist. It's like, oh, he was people person the entire time. I mean, it's like, how unimaginative. And some people might find that odd. Like, I mean, doesn't he look almost exactly like a human being? And sure, he has quite a few distinctly human physical features, but at the same time, you know, consider how common it is in science fiction to have an alien race that looks almost entirely like a human. Like the Vulcans from Star Trek, they're basically human beings that bleed green blood, which you don't see very often, and have pointy ears. It's to the point where some episodes and movies involve Spock being sent back to Earth's past, and he's able to blend in just fine, because you can hide your ears really well. So I don't think Scorn guy is going to end up being human, even if human anatomy and biology is a major theme to Scorn. Let's see, what else is there to talk about? In the future, one video I would like to make is a sort of who would win, Scorn guy or Vijaya from the Succubus game and Agony game. I think our position is pretty damn secured. Red's getting filtered by these rings. Oh, you actually made it in. Congratulations, dude. But I obviously have to wait until both Scorn and Succubus are out. Otherwise, I mean, I guess I can use Succubus mode from Agony unrated, but we know too little about Scorn in order to make a video like that. And given that she can't jump in Succubus, that kind of puts him on pretty even ground, or more even than it otherwise would be. I mean, Scorn guy has weapons, but he's very slow. Succubus is mostly melee, but she has ranged magic attacks. I honestly think Succubus would, Vijaya would most likely win. Wow. I'm gonna stay silent for this. Because I don't know, maybe it'll be my very first victory. As far as modding goes, I definitely don't see there being a very big modding scene for Scorn, but I wouldn't mind if there's an infinite ammo mod that comes out, so that after I beat the game and want to go through and get footage for like an analysis video, I'll at least be able to defend myself far more adequately than if I have to, you know, suffer the limited ammunition normally. It'll just make getting footage easier. Let's see. Here's an interesting topic. Is Microsoft going to shill Scorn for the Series X? We're going all the way back to the beginning here. I think they should, for one big reason. It's because they've already lost Halo, and the Series X doesn't have many, you know, exclusive reasons why people should give a shit about it. There's tons of backwards compatibility, but that's something that's going to help it out, like, later on in its life cycle. You know, when people switch over to the new console for the exclusive new games to it, and oh, we don't have to lose any of our saved data or not be able to play any of these old titles, but it means nothing for the game's launch. I mean, why not just keep playing on the Xbox One? And since they lost Halo, that means there's far fewer titles that are exclusive to the Series X that are big enough to warrant like a ton of hype. I'm just being a shitter. I think he quit! I think... oh, there he is. Oh, he made it up. Accidentally, too. Alright. One last shitter opportunity. 7. Ah, fuck it. Someone was filtered down there. But Scorn is going to be exclusive to the Xbox Series X. It's not going to come out on the PlayStation, at least for a long while, and it's not going to come out on Xbox One. So if you want to play this, you know, brand spanking new game, you need to update or upgrade or whatever. And of course, you know, having so few, you know, really standout titles, it would be in Microsoft's best interest to try to shill Scorn as much. And would also help us in the Scorn community, all 8 of us. I think somebody joined yesterday to see some more footage. But of course, you know, the only Achilles heel in this situation is it's still dependent on Ebb Software as to whether or not anything new gets shown, and of course their Ebb Software just got fucking launched, dude. Wow. Nope. Wow. It's our good friend there. I want to filter him specifically. Hey, look, it's very rare you see a scout these days. Scout, get back there, burger. You know, it'd be cool if Microsoft tried making their own Smash Brothers-like game and they actually included Scorn Guy in it. I don't think that Ebb Software would exactly lend themselves to crossovers or stuff like that. Like, the game doesn't even have any achievements. So that just really tells you how super serious they are about Scorn. There's no tomfoolery here. We don't even have achievements in our video game. But it would be amusing. Though I guess that would all depend on whether or not Scorn ends up being good, which is not guaranteed. In fact, there's even things working against that prospect. Namely the fact that Ebb Software is a completely new game studio. And they're working on this very ambitious title that has no dialogue, text, or cutscenes. The lead game director, Peklar, has zero history outside of Scorn. Like, you look up his name and you're only gonna find him in relation to Scorn and Ebb Software. How did 3 people get filtered already? So that's definitely working against them, but who knows, maybe it will turn out to be a fantastic game. I hope it does, because I've put a lot of, time and thought into it. The kinds of video games I'm anticipating and how much I'm anticipating them will change pretty drastically after Scorn comes out. Nope. Oh my fucking god. It's just not very fun. So far, we've only really interacted with these underground facilities. I'm just having fun. Oh man. Not even bad if I don't make it. That was hilarious. Here we go again. I love being an asshole in this game. And I don't think any of the wolf people survive, so me being an asshole utterly ruined their chances. Video games. So I have no way of accessing that information, but the release window to either late 2020 or early 2021. Trying to be slick, one asshole. On Kickstarter as part of the update. Don't even care if I lose, as long as the wolf does. Fuck you, wolf. It's taking these guys a while to get in. We're not gonna get to statuettes, unfortunately. Just a hair too late, but I denied a wolf entry, so that's good. The wolves must be eliminated. Get the fuck out of here. Alright, we're basically at war against these mint dudes. Oh. I couldn't see the mint guys, so I didn't know if they were like over the finish line. Let's see. Now they... Oh! One of them actually got the boot. Alright then. Oh wait, there's two of them there. That's probably the pair. Did he actually get filtered? Where is he? He was up there! He was up there! He just got filtered! Nintendo console for it to be allowed. Here it is! Ah, get fucked. Oh, I'm sorry. It's just so funny. Get out of here. Knack of something you like. But if it's just like collecting them for the sake of it, like, oh, it's a Funko Pop figure I don't have, I must consume it, then I really don't understand the mindset. Nice one, dude. Getting this round over quickly with that. Maybe this will be my first crown that I actually won. Fuck! So close.